Hey, it's Colleen.
Hi, it's Kate.
And it's Megan.
And we're the
Three Scheme Queens. Join us as we discuss popular hoaxes and give you our comedic take on what is fact and what is fiction. If you have a sense of humor and an open mind, come take this journey with us.
We'll tell you what we think, and we'll try to prove it to you.
Is this thing on?
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
This is our penultimate episode of the season.
Penultimate. What a good word.
What does that mean?
It's the second to last, but the penultimate episode is always better than the finale.
Yes.
Am I right, Kate?
No, she's right. Yeah.
What's the last? Oh, mermaid. Okay. Yeah.
So I will say our finale is
Our finale is
good.
going to rock your world.
We've got Mermaid Girl joining us for our finale, so we know it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, welcome back, Mermaid Girl, in a week.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
That's the bubbles for her.
Colleen, welcome back. How was Bermuda?
I would just like to say, you guys, the first time asking me about my vacation, I'm the middle child.
Yeah, she's been back for like 4 days.
Yeah.
This is the first time we met.
The Bermuda Triangle was pretty sick. I have lots of topics to talk about on my adventure. I was on a boat. I did not disappear.
Well, I'm very happy you're here.
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, she's having fun. And then we had this moment where we just looked at each other like, oh my God, what did
I know.
come back?
When you guys were recording the dolphin episode and I listened to that part, I was like, they kind of sound scared. It wasn't scary being there.
Yeah.
But learned a lot.
Did you have any thoughts on the dolphins?
Oh my God. Yeah. I just want to say, you guys are so lucky I was not here to record with you guys.
I said that in the
We
episode.
would not have been able to record anything for that episode. I was pissing my pants. I was like, if I was the one responding, I had so many penis questions. I really wanted to learn about the wet goddess more in depth.
Could we? That's what Bourbon Boy texted too. He was
It's like,
goddess.
Yeah.
just like, that's what they called me in high school, you know? Were you guys looking
Megan,
at
you looked
pictures
at
while
pictures?
recording?
No, I watched so many videos, and then she was like, "I want to look this up." And I'm afraid. I was like, "If you could just see, like,
Anyways, I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of thoughts. I was blushing the entire episode pretty much, and you're lucky I wasn't here. Megan wouldn't have been able to finish a sentence.
I was really sad you weren't here." But then, as we were recording, I was like, "Yeah,
It's for the best.
Yeah.
It's for the best.
It would have been so many questions and so many like
Kay was like, she would keep stopping. She'd probably have videos pulled up right
Yeah, I'd be watching things at the same time.
you would
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
and then immediately you'd be like, wait, do you know how? Wait a second. Do you know how? Oh, seahorses do it.
Oh, the men carry the babies. When you talked about the fact that they masturbate with eels, I think you guys talked about that enough in the episode. Eels? Guys, eels? What does that mean for like eels? I don't know.
They're really aliens, and they're studying us.
Can you imagine
That's
if you
what they're-
believe in reincarnation
They're learning.
Oh my gosh, what if that's the only reason there's eels here?
for dolphins
Is
to
for
masturbate?
dolphins.
Have you ever thought about like if you believed in reincarnation and you came back as an eel and you're just living your life and then suddenly you're grabbed by a penis?
They also like
Grab
rub
the
against
eels.
coral and stuff. I think.
No, I have thought about like reincarnation though, and like coming back as like an ant.
An ant would be interesting. Something that could fly, I feel like. A bird would be kind of fun. If you're a bird, I'm a
Yeah,
bird.
but then you don't even know. Like your
You
brain
don't even know.
Yeah, like your brain's like not even developed.
Or would I want to come back as like a lightning bug and they only have a life cycle of 24 hours? And you just like pop up, you glow, and then you die?
Yeah.
Be kind of nice.
Or just like a fish that.
And like kids just,
memory.
and
Yeah.
all you want to do is, and kids are always happy to see you. Lightning bugs, you know?
Just a reminder, guys, don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at 3 Scheme Queens. That's the number 3 Scheme Queens, all one word. We're also on Reddit, same username. If you want to check out our website, go to 3schemequeens.com and you can find links to our social media accounts, our Buzzsprout page, all of our episodes, additional content, our contact page, and our discussion board where you can engage with us and share any updates about the topics that we have discussed. Let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear next. There are also opportunities to financially support us. There are links to buy us a cup of coffee, links to our recently updated merch store, and affiliate links. And as always, if you choose not to financially support us, we appreciate the follows, the downloads, the listens, the likes. To start us off, Colleen, I think we have a review.
We do. We have a review. A review? Oh, that's a drag queen reference if you know RuPaul.
Oh, okay.
Like a review. Well, hey guys, today we've got a good, nice review from the username Woohoo Marie.
It's Marie.
Hello, Marie. She said, it's getting Australian. Very nice to listen to. Lots of cool information and different ways of thinking about things. Love it.
Colleen, that might have been one of your best.
It's because I've been listening to a audiobook that's like 50 hours or something like that. I forgot how many hours, 20 hours. And she's from Cork, Ireland.
Oh, I just was like, don't look at her because if I look at her, she's going to laugh.
Anyways, thanks for the review, Marie.
Yeah, that was really nice. Thanks, Marie.
Hope you liked the accent.
We love our Mama Marie.
Yeah.
If you want to
Leave a review.
here's what you can do.
Scroll on down. Take a look. You can leave us a comment. You can give us 5 stars.
If you leave us a comment, Colleen will read it in either the accent of your choosing or her choosing.
It will probably always end up some kind of weird Southern British. That was a pretty good Irish one, though.
A long way from Princess Diana's.
Oh, God.
Princess Diana and Moira Rose. Can we
People
go back to that for season 2?
People bullied me for my Moira Rose.
Who bullied you?
You guys.
Bourbon Boy.
Yeah.
Um,
For not a fan, though, I thought that was pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, she has not watched Schitt's Creek, so.
No.
But you know what? On our summer hiatus,
Mhm.
we'll get her to watch it, and maybe we can come back in season 2.
Yeah.
You can have it. You can redeem yourself. So is it time for our
Drink check.
Drink check.
What do we drink today, guys?
Well, okay, I want to tell a story about yesterday. I sent Megan this Instagram reel, and I was like, we need to do this drink for a drink check.
ASAP Rocky.
And it was a Fit Foodie Finds. Follow us, Fit Foodie, if you want to. We love you. And if you don't follow Fit Foodie Finds, you should follow because they have great recipes. Anyway, I sent this Instagram reel to Megan, and I was like, let's do it. And then, I came over, and she was like, I don't have a lemon. And I was like, we need to get one. We went out to the store. We got a lemon, put it in the freezer, and fast forward all of that. We decided to make the drink, and promptly
It was not good.
it was
Well,
so
It
bad.
just
To be clear-
tasted like...
Be clear. So the drink that you girls are drinking, not me, because I'm not a gin girl.
Right.
You girls were drinking a frozen French 75
Mm-hmm.
because they love their frozen lemonade,
Yeah.
and we've got the Olympics happening.
Yeah. In France.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like an appropriate drink.
Right.
Right.
And so that entailed on the recipe, which we've posted to the website, freezing your
Whole
lemon.
lemon. The
And-
recipe called for a whole lemon.
But you're
With the
supposed to,
skin.
you're supposed to strain it, and we didn't strain it.
We missed the strain step. So we ended up starting from scratch with the Simply Light Diet Lemonade
yeah.
in the freezer, making our own frozen lemonade,
Mhm.
adding a little Prosecco and a little gin. And you girls said
It
you're
tastes-
happy.
Oh,
It
that's
is
better.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So this is our own version of a frozen French 75. Three Queen version.
yeah, we just want to clarify that round 1 was not a failure because of Fit Foodie Finds.
Oh.
It was a fail because of Megan.
Correct. I
You know,
I don't
it
think
wasn't a
would've
Fit
been-
Foodie Finds fail. Basically, what she did is she froze lemon juice
Right.
and then strained it out of the.
Lemon.
I mean, I feel like you probably could have just used a frozen. I feel like you could just use lemon juice, right?
yeah, or
Or
like
you
the,
just use...
the frozen lemon that comes in the freezer section.
Oh, like the lemonade.
Anyway, so they're having their own version.
We tried. We
Um,
failed. So we made our own.
I am having a poor man's mojito
Mojito.
because I'm trying to get through
The mint.
Oh, yeah. You have so much mint.
Yeah, I said it's so invasive. I did some Simply Light limeade. I threw in a little bit of Bacardi white rum and some muddled mint, and It's no like restaurant mojito, but I would say if you're having a party, if you
It works.
do the work, it's a
Works.
pretty good imitation.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's what I'm having. When you were in Bermuda, did you have any mojitos on the boat?
No, I don't like mojitos.
Oh,
Rude. Have you guys ever been on a boat?
Yeah.
but I gotta say, I don't know if I want to be on a boat after
Oh.
the season.
Well, have you ever been on a boat and thought to yourself, am I about to disappear?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh. What if I told you there's a geometrical shaped area in the ocean leading to death and disappearance?
Whoa.
And by geometrical shape, I mean triangle.
Oh.
Is about the Devil's Triangle?
Yes! And by area in the ocean, I mean the Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle.
Okay.
And that's what we're talking about today. All things unknown and missing.
The Bermuda Triangle is so interesting.
I found it very interesting, but then at the same time, I was like, scientists are just trying to shut us down.
Yeah, well, I was like, were you let down by this, Colleen?
Some of them, they like the points against the theories is like could be true, but also could not be true. Like it's not true science yet.
I'm going to tell you that I don't believe the Bermuda Triangle has any.
Mystical. No, I think it's just a freak of nature. Like I don't think it's anything alien related or like time whatever related.
Space continuum.
I'm not even sure that I don't really believe
People
that it's any more dangerous than any other part of the ocean.
I do get into that. It's not, shockingly.
Ooh.
We can start with that.
Spoiler alert.
They
Okay,
say...
Wait, before you spoil it, Kate, what do you think of the Bermuda Triangle?
My earliest memories of the Bermuda Triangle is like, cartoons of like them going to the like on a boat and there's this mysterious wall of mist and it's like if you disappear behind the mist
then
what's
you're gone
gonna happen
forever.
you're gone forever. Like that's what I view Bermuda Triangle as, which I know is like completely wrong, but that's just how I view it.
Yeah, I was the same way. Like I viewed it as just like this freak of area that everybody avoids so they don't disappear.
Right.
But first of all, people don't avoid it. It's a vacation spot. Second of all, the numbers of shipwrecks in that area are no more higher than like other parts of the ocean.
Oh,
So it's
let down.
It's kind of a letdown. But there are some popular theories that I'm going to go through today.
Yeah, let's hear them.
So to talk about the Bermuda Triangle, let's talk about what it covers. It covers the Straits of Florida, the Bahamas, the entire Caribbean island area, and the East Atlantic to the Azores. Which I don't. That's all.
The Azores of Portugal?
Oh yeah, the Azores.
But Portugal's really far away.
And it says Atlantic East to the Azores.
I did read that people have different barriers for the Bermuda Triangle.
So maybe I just had a weird.
Like Ireland.
Yeah, maybe I just had a weird.
But I
source.
think it's mostly like the points are like Miami.
Miami.
Puerto
It also
Rico,
includes Puerto Rico.
Miami, Puerto Rico, and like Bermuda, right? Are like the 3 points.
We'll post a map, but that's the part of the world we're talking about. And we do
The
have
Atlantic Ocean.
We do have like first person responses to it. I think the earliest documented that I found in my research was from Christopher Columbus talking about that area and the difficulty of navigating. But the most famous conspiracies start with a disappearance of Flight 19, which I left to the end because me and Megan are kind of co-oping this episode. So she did a lot of Flight 19. And there was an article written by Vincent Gaddis who initiated the craziness around Bermuda. But I've got a couple theories. The first one, Kate, I think you'll like this one.
Oh.
It's a little bit of Marvel.
Oh.
It always goes back to Marvel. The theory of the Bermuda Triangle being a time vortex.
Oh.
Did you read about that, Megan?
I mean,
Megan doesn't believe in the time.
No, yeah, Megan doesn't want to. Megan doesn't want to have any fun.
I mean, I've seen people online commenting like it could be a vortex, but I
Would be.
dig.
Yeah. Well, some believe that time is a force of nature.
Okay.
Like something you can see, something that's physical.
Okay.
Something that can be warped based on your location. So they believe that the Bermuda Triangle is an example of this occurrence on Earth, which I'm like, do you have proof of this occurrence on other planets?
Wait, they're saying time
Can be physical instead of just like a mental thought.
like if you slowed down time, then you would feel that it's slower
Yeah.
instead of, so it's like a physical feeling rather than something that's actually physical that you can touch.
Like something you can see. Like they think we are in like a time fabric, and you can warp the fabric to then see time happening, like a vortex.
Okay.
And so they think the Bermuda Triangle is an example of this warping of the time fabric that makes it something visible. And so the first like experience of this happened in 1970 with a Floridian pilot named Brew Jernan Jr. and his father and their friend Chuck.
I'm sorry. I have to ask one more question about this theory. So does that mean that they're saying that they can exist out of time to see the time fabric? Because if you can see the time fabric, it means you're looking at time. So you're existing outside of it.
Or like a portal or like a vortex, and it just reflects time. Like you can go through the vortex and come out of it in a different time. Like time is warped in that area, so then you can enter that area and travel through time. And that's why people are disappearing.
Okay.
So they're going through Bermuda Triangle, they're going through this vortex and disappearing into unknown time.
Okay, so like a time-space continuum.
Yeah, exactly. So the first example of this said conspiracy was from the Floridian pilot Brew Gernan Jr. His father and his friend Chuck were flying towards Bimini Island. A lot of these conspiracies specifically relate to Bimini Island. And we're going to get into the other ones, but they were flying toward Bimini Island. It's an island in the Bahamas, and they noticed a strange elliptical cloud that they called an electronic fog hovering about 500 feet above the ocean. Okay, this is an excerpt from his story, okay, where he claimed to have seen the electronic fog that he thought was a time vortex.
Okay.
He said, upon entering the cloud, we witnessed an uncanny spectacle. It was dark and black without rain, and visibility was about 4 or 5 miles. There were no lightning bolts, only extraordinarily bright white flashes that would illuminate the entire surrounding area. The deeper we penetrated, the more intense the flashes became, so we made a 135-degree turn to the left and headed due south up the cloud. The remarkable thing is that we did not come out of the storm 90 miles away from Miami, as we should have. We had traveled through 100 miles of space in 30 minutes of time in a little more than 3 minutes. He claims they went through this electronic fog, aka a time vortex, traveled 100 miles in 30 minutes, which is like, you can't do that.
He claimed, no, he's 3 minutes, he said. 100 miles in 3 minutes. It should have taken 30, right?
Mm-hmm. So then scientists were like, Brew, you're wrong. There's things in science that can make that happen, apparently. Which I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
There are scientists that predict what Bruce saw. So again, it's still conspiracy because they're just predicting what they think Bruce saw.
Okay.
They cannot recreate it nor fully prove it.
Okay.
But apparently there can be events on the sun that are called sunspots that scientists track and count during a solar cycle. And it's like essentially like a storm on the sun.
Yeah.
That is so strong.
That is so weird because when you were reading it, I was like, this sounds like something that's coming out of the sun, like a solar flare type situation.
And the energy from the sunspot breaks through the Earth's magnetosphere, which I didn't know was a thing, and can create like solar winds and disturbances in the magnetosphere and like an energy flux on Earth. And so scientists believe this is what he saw. Like this is what could have created that quote unquote storm.
Oh, okay, but that still doesn't speed up time.
Yeah, it doesn't explain how they did that. I have
Right.
no idea. I just maybe like
Is anyone around to corroborate his story?
his father and their friend Chuck.
And they all say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So, and then again, science, and also I'd like to say, how come I've never heard of this like disruption in the magnetosphere before?
I mean, when you hear about the Northern Lights, that's a disruption.
But like, does it
disruption of
create
the
clouds
magnetosphere.
like this over the ocean that they could have driven or boated through?
Or was it clouds? Or did it create clouds, or were the flashes of light? Were they talking
No,
about?
he's like they were boating through. He calls it an electronic fog, and there were flashes of light that weren't lightning, but like bright white light.
At least you could say they were flashing lights.
Anyways, I don't know. A lot of these conspiracies are just like first person accounts that we can never really prove yes or no.
There's no
to.
proof.
There's no. I mean,
It's
the
like
scientists.
It's like Megan's USO stories where the guy came out with 100
Needle marks.
needle marks, and they were like he had no drugs in his system.
And they just like graze past.
We can't.
Yeah. We
figure
can't
out.
prove that this happened, but we cannot
not
disprove.
prove
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And like, I mean, I'm not a scientist, clearly, but I'm sure like occurrences like this can happen, and I'm sure they can explain it more in depth. So like by saying like scientists say this, like I'm sure it's a really educated scientist explaining what the sun can do to the earth. I don't know. I don't really believe it's a time vortex. It's a little cheesy to me.
Oh, okay.
But also, that's what Bruce says he experiences. So,
You're gonna first name basis.
yeah, me and Brew. There's another conspiracy that correlates with Megan's USO theories.
Okay.
There's the strong belief that the Bermuda Triangle is a entry point or quote unquote Stargate to a third dimension, and this is where aliens enter and exit our planet. I don't have any proof against that.
Well, I mean, if all the eels swim to the Bermuda Triangle
Yeah,
to mate, and we don't know where they're mating, and the mother's calling them
they
home,
could be the aliens.
that could be
The alien entry
they could
point.
be coming from the alien entry point. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they make people avoid it, and
they're-
that's why.
Well, like I saw something about like if we're talking about like all of these disappearances, right, that allegedly occur in the Bermuda Triangle, and I saw this or in one of the documentaries I watched, it said there were 1,600 ghost ships found with no souls on board. So I guess are you arguing that these are all like alien
ships?
abductions?
Maybe
Because it goes back to our thought of like, what do aliens
want with us.
want?
I just don't think they want anything from us.
No.
I think they
And,
just
like-
want something from the earth.
Well, I'd like
resource.
to
Yeah.
reiterate my coworker's opinion that we are the aliens.
I disagree. An alien means that you are not from Earth. We are from Earth.
No, are you? She's alleging that our ancestors came from another planet.
Yeah,
So then you're saying that you don't believe that we actually evolved from monkeys, which you said you did.
I'm just saying it's an option.
No,
And that's somebody's conspiracy.
then they're Scientologists. I
Scientologists don't think
truly
they're
don't
the
think that
aliens.
we're aliens.
They just
I
pray
think-
to an alien.
Okay, I think that if we are aliens, how do we exist so perfectly in this environment on the Earth?
There's also the conspiracy that technically oxygen's killing us, and that's why we age the way we age. And so maybe we don't belong here.
No, it's gravity that kills us.
So maybe we don't belong here. Angels, aliens come from above.
Right.
Anyways, that's just there's also the conspiracy that Bermuda Triangle is the highway to hell. I don't have again any proof against that.
What, like if you're going
That's a
to hell,
strong
you-
Christian belief that the Bermuda Triangle is the
Is that
entry
a-
point.
Kate, is that a strong Christian belief? What?
It was heavily supported by online Christians that Bermuda Triangle is the entry point to hell.
Wait a second. Are these the same online Christians that say that there's a flat Earth?
Yeah. I don't know why.
They're
think that.
anti-science.
I don't know why they think that. And then this one had me.
Okay.
Okay. This one, I was like, huh, maybe.
Hold on.
I was like, oh, hold on. You're getting me a little bit. The Bermuda Triangle is the location of the lost city of Atlantis.
That's what I always
Wait.
heard.
Yeah.
Until Kate told us it was
Yeah,
in the
it's
Mediterranean.
It's off. Yeah.
Guys, as I was reading this, every plot that I read about online matched the plot to the Disney movie. And I'm like, oh, they really based that off of what we think.
Oh.
Or am I just reading what somebody wrote based on the movie? I don't know.
Well, I believe.
And he's just presenting it as his...
It sounded like I read as a lovely article. So
I believe Mermaid Girl called Atlantis
Bermuda.
documentary.
Yeah.
Or one of you guys,
Yeah.
you're like, you call it a cartoon? I call it a documentary.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason why people think it's the entry point of Atlantis, and this brings in Bimini Island again. So there was a psychic who was famous for this conspiracy. His name is Edgar Lace.
Edgar Allan Poe.
I do love Edgar Allan Poe, but no. This gentleman.
Hold on. I'm still thinking about how you said oxygen is killing us.
It could be.
Oxygen toxicity.
I know oxygen toxicity is real, but
No, that's just like I say these not as I believe them. Okay.
This is her role
This is
in this
just-
podcast is to
I know.
pull out that random
If people are like, why do cell it actually people have tried to research this because we do research why cells age the way they age. And one of the
free radicals are caused
one of that
by
has to do with
superfluous oxygen use.
Yeah. That is an actual
and I hear you, but
I say it as a joke,
You don't
but
think
it
our
is,
21% oxygen that we're breathing in is killing us? No.
could be the other things we're breathing in.
yeah.
But anyways, Edgar the psychic.
Okay.
He claimed to have multiple readings.
Okay.
Now, I did not figure out if
Psychics freak me out a little bit. Nah.
anyways, he claimed to have had multiple readings. Now, I don't know if he was like doing a reading for somebody and then like City of Atlantis came through, or if he was just like That's So Raven, like randomly in his room. Like,
Golly, you just did an impression.
That's So Raven.
Because she like
love that show. And it's random and like it controls her for a second.
yeah.
I don't know how these came to him. All I know is that they came to him.
Okay.
And multiple about the lost city of Atlantis, which he claimed to have gone missing between 1924 and 1944, which I think is very
it's
interesting.
pretty recent history.
Because that's very recent. Maybe his visions came through. Either way, something happened between 1924 and 1944. He claimed.
Something happened. World War One.
Oh, maybe he was claiming.
Right.
I also like her World War I, World War II era.
Yeah, two very different eras. In my defense, there's only like a 20-year difference. Like that's one person's lifespan. That's one era, you know? I'm in my Colleen era.
Yeah.
He claimed that the last part of the city that went missing was the Bahama Banks. I don't know if that means like actual banks or if that meant
I'm sure it means
like coast.
the coast.
Couldn't tell you. We're the last part of the city to sink. So he mentions Bimini in his readings, saying that there was a trail of energy crystals once used to fuel the city. Again, literally straight from the movie. And these stones had electromagnetic forces that caused interference with airplane and ship electronic systems, causing them to just vanish to protect the city. He claimed that these crystals sank, right? So they're at the bottom of the ocean. In 1968, a scuba diver named J. Manson Valentine furthered this theory because he went scuba diving off the coast of Bimini Island and found a series of stones laid out in the bottom of the ocean in the form of a road.
In the form of a road pointed to Atlantis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
That is more interesting to me than the psychic who because there are magnetic issues in the Bermuda Triangle.
Is it?
Are you going to tell me it's not?
I don't know.
It makes people's compasses not work, and then people get
yeah,
lost.
we talk
It's
about
like
that.
The magnet. Oh, I'm sorry. Proceed.
But how could Edgar and J. Manson both know about the rocks? You know? Well, apparently these stones were not a new finding.
Okay.
And it's actually a natural rock formation called Bimini Road. And it was like well known before J. Manson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. So people knew this existed, and then Edgar was like,
Had a vision.
I have a vision of this thing I read about.
He was probably just inspired and like probably gardening and,
Or
had a vision.
yeah, gardening or, acid tripping.
LSD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Swimming with the dolphins.
Yeah.
The next theory made me laugh out loud. I could not get over that this was an actual online conspiracy. But then again, it makes sense. This one was written for Patch.
Okay.
His theory is titled Ocean Flatulence.
Oh my gosh, wait.
Immediately love it.
There's this conspiracy that, quote, long ago, end quote, I have no timeline, a freighter ship was carrying thousands of barrels of beans and lentils and accidentally spilled them into the ocean floor of the Bermuda Triangle. And that ever since, these beans and lentils were releasing clouds of gas that was so odorous, boats and planes had to avoid it.
I love lentils.
Just like the ocean's just ripping a fat one.
So,
Like,
Is methane released?
yes, I don't want to be a
the
Debbie
ocean
Downer,
floor?
I have that in my paper.
but
I
they're
know.
real. They're not farts.
No, it's a real thing. So it's a
Also,
proven
like, what would be eating the beans and then
farting. I don't know. Ocean flatulence.
Somebody came up with that.
Like, I know what it is.
It's the beans.
It's the ocean. Megan is correct. There are known
Ocean
pockets
venting.
of methane
Yeah.
gas beneath the ocean floor that erupt if there's too much internal pressure.
Yeah.
But aside
So
from
you're telling me the ocean's farting. I mean, the ocean floor's
Like the
farting.
decomposition of the
Whoa.
ocean life releases these
I mean,
bubbles.
methane gas is what comes out of us.
Well, the conspiracy that it's not lentils, that it's pockets of methane gas is the side quest to the ocean flatulence. People believe that there's so many pockets of methane gas beneath the Bermuda Triangle. Like, it's just a freak area of pockets of gas.
Is there a big trench down there?
There is a huge trench.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
but they believe that the gas being released, not from the lentils, just from the ocean floor, is what affects the buoyancy of the ships, and that so much gas is expelled into the air that it then stalls the engines of the airplanes. And so that's
Which is the airplane. Okay, so
both. It affects
Yeah.
both.
what I saw was that if these methane bubbles erupt underneath a boat, it could cause the boat to like capsize.
Yeah.
But what I was reading was that like we know not just Bermuda Triangle, we know other areas of the ocean have these methane gas.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they've proven that any of the bubbles have been large enough to like
To affect
capsize it.
buoyancy.
But that's the first I've heard about airplanes being
Like
impacted.
the
by-
gas and the gas is so bad it goes up to the sky and stalls an airplane's engine mid-flight. That's what they're claiming.
I don't know if I'm buying that.
Well, it got proven wrong by the USA Geological Survey. They surveyed the ocean floor and they never found any gas They call them hydrates. Never found any gas hydrates. So,
Well,
but somebody's thinking to themselves, you know what the Bermuda Triangle does?
I bet it's a really well-educated
Fart.
person. Too.
yeah.
Yeah. Another
Sounds
conspiracy, another common conspiracy is that the Bermuda Triangle is a location of a comet landing site.
Oh.
So people believe that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the two places on Earth where the north and magnetic north line up. And so
Right.
this impacts impacts compass readings, which Megan mentioned a little bit. So some think this is because 11,000 years ago, a comet crashed into the Earth at the location of the Bermuda Triangle. And that it's the comet affecting the natural magnetic variations in relation to the magnetic poles. And so they think the magnetic north, which is what the compass picks up, and the geographic north, which is true north, are only the exact same for a small number of places. This naturally occurs. This is a thing. People just think this is a thing in the Bermuda Triangle, which I believe is correct. Right, Megan?
It is a thing in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
2 locations, I thought.
So the comet created so much like
I mean, I don't know.
gravitational force.
Yeah, gravitation aren't some asteroids magnetic? Isn't that aren't stones?
I guess if you have like,
And they think it's just a giant magnetic rock in the ocean floor that causes this.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know
Oh.
if I buy the comet as the etiology. I just thought, okay, so they're pretty close and they intersect in 2 places. It sounds like in the world. And I just thought this happened to be the place where it intersected.
Where's the other
No.
place? I know what the other place is.
Oh, look at you with your facts.
The other site. This was also I found quite interesting because
Okay.
it correlated to Amelia Earhart.
Oh,
The other place is called the Devil's Sea, and it's near Japan.
Oh.
Wait a second. Where the other eels go?
Yeah. So-
You are lying.
The Bermuda is the Devil's Triangle. The Japanese one is called the Devil Sea. And they're
The
same
eels
experience.
go to that.
I
Oh my gosh. Colleen, did you just crack the code?
think they're onto something, guys.
Yeah.
You're onto something.
Oh my God.
Mother is calling them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were the big ones. Welcome to my TED Talk. My personal favorite was the ocean flatulence. The next big section to Bermuda Triangle, which is what made Bermuda Triangle the most famous, is Flight 19.
Oh,
So I can graze over it. And then Megan, I think, has watched a lot of
I watched multiple
documentaries to give us more details. What I know about Flight 19, very genre,
Okay.
graze over it. December 5th, 1945. Routine navigational flight training run by Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, the leader, the navigator. It's a group of 5 torpedo bombers on a routine flight. They go missing.
Okay.
They go missing over the Bermuda Triangle. I have a quote from the radio call that I will read. I don't have the full detailing of the flight itself,
I got you.
but what I do know, starting right out of the bat, is that Taylor was a known poor navigator.
Yeah.
He was known for not being good. I'm like, why was he the leader if he's already known for
He was the
sucking?
instructor. I'll tell you about it.
And that they did not follow the, quote, lost at sea, end quote, procedure.
Okay.
Instead of heading back the way they came, they continued east, going over the Atlantic Ocean, ran out of gas, and disappeared.
Well,
That's what I know.
Okay.
He said, at approximately 3:45 p.m., we cannot see. We seem to be off course. What's your position? Said the tower. We cannot be sure where we are. Repeat, cannot see land. Contact was lost for 10 minutes. We can't find west. Everything is wrong. We can't be sure of any direction. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean. 20 minutes of radio silence. Now, hysteria. We can't tell where we are, everything. We can't make out anything. We can't make out about 225 miles northeast of base. Looks like we are entering white water. We're completely lost. That's the last of it.
wow. That's a dramatic.
Yeah,
Thank you
so-
for that dramatic reading.
That
You're
was
welcome.
really good. My story, while a little more evidence-based, factual, detailed,
That was really good.
is not as funny. Not as okay. So you are correct. There are 2 big missing scenarios people talk about: the USS Cyclops, which is a boat,
Oh,
and then the
didn't read about that.
Flight 19. So Flight 19 is what we'll talk about here. So as you mentioned, 5 planes with 14 souls on board disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle after reports of the compasses going haywire. A search and rescue mission led to the disappearance of another 13 people. We mentioned this in the USO episode.
So like
Right.
26 total.
So a 27 total.
Okay.
So this all starts at 2:10 p.m., December 5th, 1945. As you mentioned, Captain Taylor. So we call this Flight 19, but these people were in school to fly
These
this
were
plane.
like babies, like young kids.
No, not necessarily. Like, some of them were higher ranking than Taylor,
Okay.
but they just were, this like their Navy assignment, go learn how to fly the Avenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them only had like 60 hours of flying time on these bombers. But Taylor was their instructor.
Yeah.
So when they call it Flight 19, it was like the flight was like the group of students.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were in 5 planes. It was 67-degree day with, quote, favorable flying conditions. These 5 Avenger torpedo bombers with 14 people take off from Fort Lauderdale, a U.S. Navy training base. And this was like their final evaluation before graduation.
Okay, this is sad.
These pilots, all of the students had like 300 flight hours total, with 60 on this particular plane. And Charles Taylor, who had 2,800 hours, he was evaluating them. Okay, so they had done this exercise before. This is like the last time they'd done this particular navigation exercise.
Mhm.
So the plan was to fly east from the Naval Air Station, Fort Lauderdale. So at 91 degrees, 56 miles, they're going to drop a bomb on this target. Then they're going to continue for 67 miles, fly north for 73 miles over the Bahamas, and then pivot and head back to Fort Lauderdale. Interestingly, Lieutenant Taylor was late to showtime.
Oh,
And
was
when he showed up, he said, I don't feel good. I have a bad feeling.
Oh no.
I don't want to fly. And they said, you're the only instructor here to fly. You got to fly.
Oh no. No.
So we know that this first leg, they were supposed to fly out over the ocean and drop this bomb. And they radioed permission to drop the bomb. They dropped the bomb. So we know they made it that far. That was like at 3 p.m. And then after that, everything that we know is based on the radio transmissions that
I read.
A lovely impression.
You're welcome.
And so most of the transmissions are between Taylor and the base. But then there was this other pilot he was with a different flight and he was taking off behind them.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Cox. And so there are periods of time where he intercepted, like where they were radioing back and forth because they were closer.
Yeah.
So that maybe like Cox was like relaying between the base.
Okay.
But he wasn't with them. He didn't know where they were. He was trying to help them. So like 3:40 p.m., one crew member asked Powers, one of the pilots, for his compass readings. He said, I don't know where we are. We must have gotten lost after that last turn. So Cox, this random guy, he hears this chatter. He says, identify yourself so someone can assist you. And he's kind of alerting the base, like, I think there's this lost plane up here. And then Taylor, the lead guy, says, we can't find west. Everything is wrong. We can't be sure of any direction. Everything looks strange, even the ocean. And so we know while they took off, it was a beautiful day. By 4 p.m., the weather was changing. There were 40-mile winds at 1,000 feet and 75-mile hurricane gusts at 8,000 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
So Cox is trying to tell them, he's like, what's going on? And Taylor says, both my compasses are out and I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm over land, but it's broken. I'm sure I'm in the Keys, but I don't know how far down and I don't know how to get to Fort Lauderdale. And Cox just gives him instructions, which I guess is like basic. Again, because I think the deal is compass isn't working because
so you got to go on what you see.
So he says, look for the sun. Like, look at the sun. Put the sun on your port wing and fly up the coast until you get to Miami, and then Fort Lauderdale is 20 miles further. So he's trying to help him. He's like, just use the sun and get home. And then he's like, and I'm going to come find you. And Taylor's like, no, I know where I am now. I'm good. We're good. And then, again, I don't want to go through the whole thing. You did a really nice summation, but it kind of just goes back and forth where, like, they seem to know where they're going, and then they don't.
They disappear.
And it sounds like all the students, I think pretty much my takeaway is that the pilot, the instructor, was disoriented for whatever reason. So he's convinced, he thought they were over the Keys, like in the Gulf of Mexico. But really what we think now is that they were over the Atlantic. They were over the
Triangle.
Bahamas, like the island.
Oh, yeah.
So when he was flying east to get back to Florida,
thinking he was
just
going
flying
west.
deeper into the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because his students are like, if this guy literally says, if we would just fly west, we could get home. Damn it, if we would just fly west, we could get home. So like they know
they're not going
the right direction. But and then he would listen to be like, okay, yeah, let's fly west. But he didn't have a clock because also when they went to do their check,
he wasn't wearing his watch.
There were no clocks in any of the planes. Yeah. Well, we all got watches, but he didn't have a watch. So he'd be like, let's fly west. And then he would be like, I feel like we've been flying west for a long time and we haven't seen land. Maybe we need to turn around.
But he didn't know what time it was.
But he didn't know how he was flying west because he had no way of tracking time.
Oh, no.
And then, at 1820, there's kind of some different stuff about like when the last transmission was, whether it was 6:20 p.m. or 7:04 p.m. But around 6 o'clock, he says, I suggest we fly due east until we run out of gas. We have a better chance of being picked up close to shore. If we were near land, we should be able to see a light or something. Are you listening? We may just as well turn around and go east again. Now, as you implied, he had a history of getting lost.
Yeah.
He had previously bailed.
He was well known for not knowing where he's
out of his airplane into water during World War I.
Oh, my gosh.
And he'd been lost 3 times before. And then...
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Like...
And like maybe you should
bad luck or can you imagine being lost that many times? Like,
but also this just like so terrifying to not be able to.
If I was a student, I would have just like left.
Well, that's like this is military procedure. Like you got to follow your officer in charge. Yeah, to their detriment. So then, the last transmission, what time that was, 6:20, 7:04, says all aircraft to maintain close formation. We may be compelled to execute a water landing unless land is spotted. When the first plane's gauge drops below 10 gallons, we will all descend together. And so there was this whole plan. They were just gonna jump. But again, there was really bad weather. Like I said, at that point, the weather had kind of changed.
Yeah.
And no one really knew where to look because they all thought they were over the Keys. It seems like around this time, they're figuring out, like, wait, we think he's too far
west.
We think he's further east than he thinks he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And unlike Amelia Earhart.
Oh, yeah.
They actually, like, set people out pretty quickly. to try to find this guy. Cox wanted to go back out, but they wouldn't let him go back out. So a Mariner rescue seaplane with 13 people on board, it takes off on this search. They called in a routine radio message at 7:30 p.m. and then they were never heard from again.
Oh my God.
About 9 o'clock, a boat did report seeing a big explosion. What they think is there was a lot of fuel on this boat, and it probably had like an in-flight combustion, blew up, and they never found the remnants of it, but they did find some oil slicks. But in the end, that's 27 people who died.
It's awful.
Charles Taylor was initially found guilty of mental aberration because they were like, if he knew he was over the Bahamas and not the Keys, this wouldn't have happened. And like you said, he refused. They kept saying like, why have you not put on your search and rescue frequency?
Yeah.
And he was like,
He didn't follow protocol.
No, he did. He was like, I want to maintain contact with my pilots. And so anyway, they were like, he's to blame. And then his mother was like, this isn't fair. You haven't even found the plane or the bodies.
How would you know? Yeah.
So they came out and like, okay, we're not going to blame him. But no one's ever found
died. Yeah. But
300 boats and planes searched for 5 days. 248 Navy planes, 18 ships.
they never found any.
Searched 200,000 square miles, never found this plane.
Wow.
But yeah, I thought, here's my kind of takeaway on this, Colleen.
Right.
I
You
thought-
think the ocean's farting?
Like I saw, okay, did you guys know? This is an interesting stat. This is not Bermuda Triangle.
Probably not.
This is everywhere.
Okay.
They estimate 3 million shipwrecks on the ocean floor, and less than 1% of those have been explored.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we didn't even talk about mermaids.
No.
But anyway,
Well, because the article I read didn't bring it up.
I think
I read 2.
that shipwrecks are common.
Right.
I think that this Atlantic Ocean is a very frequently traveled area for transport, for vacation.
It just has high traveling, so
high
it's gonna have
traffic.
higher numbers.
Correct. And I think there's the Gulf Stream there where the warm ocean current moves along the coast of Florida, and there's all these small islands that you mentioned, so there's like really shallow water areas, so it's easy for there to be like shipwrecks. And then I think, as you mentioned, we talked about the magnet, like how compasses aren't working.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Taylor had 2 compasses,
And they were both
but neither one of them was
warped.
working.
Yeah, and they weren't functional.
Yeah, and so I think, I think it's just kind of like a scary area. I don't think there's anything like, and there's rogue waves. Do you hear about these rogue waves? Rogue waves are waves that can reach up to 100 feet.
Like tidal waves.
Yeah, but they come out of nowhere, like with bad weather that's happening. This is not just
It could get a plane.
Okay.
Well, I don't have a plane, but I just meant it could take out like a boat.
Oh, like a low flying plane though. Like, can't they get up to 500 feet?
Oh, I
Something
saw,
like
I saw
that.
100 feet.
Oh,
500 feet, 100 feet.
vertical. You know? But I'm like, the only thing I can't explain is the eels.
Well, the other thing too that they were, I can't explain.
And why is there also
You have-
in Japan?
You guys really did blow my mind with that fact.
Which, like, I need a globe to see. Is Bermuda Triangle and the Japan Sea, like the Devil Sea, in the same spot on the either side of the globe?
I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Is there something going through the earth?
Yeah.
Is there something going through the
I
earth?
also think, because we've mentioned previously about like perhaps there being, I kind of buy into if we believe in UFOs,
Aliens.
why can't they be under the water?
Yeah.
I still maintain that. I don't know that they're there, but I'm just saying if we believe they're
Right.
That's where Mother is.
That's probably where they are.
yeah.
If I were to pick a place,
Yeah.
pick that place.
Yeah. But like people talk about, like we talked about Christopher Columbus. We mentioned he had this USO sighting. He saw mermaids in the Bermuda Triangle. They talk about these flashing lights. And one of the theories I saw also is that like these people are out at sea for long periods of time.
They go cuckoo.
They go a little cuckoo, and then maybe they're dehydrated, and suddenly ocean water looks pretty refreshing
They
to
start
them.
chugging salt.
And then they're chugging salt water, and then they're hallucinating and going crazy, and maybe that's where some of these.
I didn't even think about that.
That's kind of most of what I have. Oh, the other fun, but the ghost ships. The ghost ships really.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was crazy when I read that initial number. I don't remember what it was, like 1,300. I think I said there were like 1,300 ghost ships.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so many ships. What are these ships just doing?
Floating.
Without people. And then I read a different statistic that said the United States coastal states reported more than 5,600 ghost ships between 2013 and 2016. And it's very common for people to just like abandon their ships.
Well, another common conspiracy was that the Bermuda Triangle is just scary because of pirates. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of pirates in other like.
So, but I mean, it's a high trafficked area. Right? That's what pirates target. Yeah. So like that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
Bermuda Triangle.
Wait, so these ghost ships are just? Oh, I was thinking ghost.
ships.
Oh,
Ships-
in my head, ghost ships were like sunken ships at the bottom of the floor.
No, they're on the water floating with no people on them. And they're just there. There's a lot.
But it sounds like there's a lot. For example, it's one of these small islands where maybe like people get stranded and they have to call for help, and then it's like they can't tow the boat back, so they just abandon it.
Yeah.
Or they said the reason there's so many in the U.S. is that like boats are so expensive, and so maybe people are just like
Let them go.
And it costs like 10% a year of the cost of the boat to maintain it. And if people are like, I can't afford that, then it's just like we're just gonna like
Dump it in the water.
Oh.
Or like big storms make boats break free from the dock, like things like that.
Oh yeah.
So
Wow. I've never
do
thought about anything like
there's something odd about the Bermuda Triangle in relation to like the magnetic forces.
Yeah, it's probably all
and,
related to
like
the magnetic.
the depth of the ocean, because there is a trench there, and like the temperature of the ocean. Like there's something weird going on in that ecosystem.
It's like an environmental
Yeah.
anomaly.
But do I think it's a time vortex, the ocean farting, an alien entry point? I don't think so. I think it's just an
No
anomaly.
alien entry point.
I don't think so, guys. I'm sorry.
Not even.
why do you
not
think
even.
eels are going there?
Yeah.
then?
Then why do you think?
Maybe I do. I don't know. I think we need to study it. But
But it's miles deep, and there's so much ocean to study.
Right.
no, we only know 5%. It's not a lot.
Not a lot.
Do you have any thoughts, Kate?
No. I just think it was really interesting.
What I'd like, we're putting this out there into the internet, and so that means it's going to be here forever. So this is documented proof that if my great 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 grandkids figure out what's at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle, just know that I was trying to figure it out too.
And actively trying to figure it out by
Googling.
being a keyboard warrior.
All right.
Hey, she ventured out.
But no, I want this. This is a letter to my kids in like 1,000 years in the future.
Okay.
You're optimistic that you think we're still gonna
Be here.
That'll still have a family line. Yeah, maybe. Your great aunt Colleen, who died in the Bermuda Triangle, just know she died. What a way to go.
seeking answers.
Seeking answers. Yeah.
Die. What a way to go.
All right, guys. Well,
That was the BT.
that was fun. So what's our poll?
What's the poll, guys?
Do we think the Bermuda Triangle is the place of
Farts.
yeah, do we think that the beans were dumped?
And editor Megan, please put in a fart noise.
I don't even know. Is the Bermuda Triangle a nefarious region that eats up ships and is a space-time continuum warp place?
Maybe.
Or is it just an environmental anomaly where magnetic fields and ocean currents and trenches create this beautiful, perfect triangle of danger?
Right.
I mean, I'm with. That's my vote, guys.
Yeah.
Also, you referenced this briefly, but the whole reason that Bermuda Triangle is even called Bermuda Triangle and even like noted to be this deadly area is because someone wrote up a fictional story for a magazine in the 1960s. You said,
Yeah.
I don't remember, but like, so that is the root. A science fiction magazine article
Is
is
the
the root of all
But,
the conspiracies
guys,
that we're now.
what we did not talk about in this episode, which we unknowingly did, our logo, guys, is a triangle.
What's supposed to be the all-seeing eye?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? It's also a triangle, just like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
So we unknowingly correlated ourselves with the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, we did.
So maybe
Triangle.
we are the aliens.
All right, Kate. What should people do?
Scroll on down, leave a 5-star review, leave us a comment, share us with your friends and family, share us with that coworker that is less than pleasant, share us on your social media outlets, and yeah,
And
thanks for listening.
Yeah, join us next week with
Thank you.
Mermaid Girl.
Mermaid Girl, we're really excited to have her back.
Yeah.
Tanky.
Thanks. See you next Tuesday.
See you
See you next Tuesday.